late, or maybe miss the first few minutes of round 1. I don't think anyone's too upset about that. I think we'll survive, you know, guys. I think we'll probably be okay. Bottom right side is our blue Terran player from Kaizi Gaming. This is Spirit. Needs a 2-0 to win it out and take it to an ace match. And the top left needs one map to secure this victory for his team. It is SOO'. Nice first map from Spirit, of course. Getting to play Curious Minds first at least makes the first map easy, but again, it doesn't matter if the first map is easy or not. While that would be step number 1, you still have to win on the map pick after. I mean, obviously, it's still nice when you need the 2-0. It means that, hey, you know, at least you're starting to potentially get that 2-0 in the best way possible. So, like I say, that's something at least. Even if it's not exactly ideal in total. Well, it's going to see this SCV going to move down to the low ground, so it's just going to come down, get ready to pop down to CC. And that's a command center first here on Curious Minds, which is obviously a super short map, so pretty interesting. Extractor will be placed a spawning pool as well, so it's hatch, gas, and a pool coming up right now. So hatch, gas, and pool all coming through here, and just going to be seeing the yeah. Obviously, nothing really too weird on the side of SOO'. So what have we seen SOO' do? In the games I've seen of him, he's been doing a mix of things. I've seen him rushing mutas, I've seen him roach rushing, I've seen him kind of happy to play into roaches a lot of the time in general. Yeah, it's been kind of a variety. So if I had to pinpoint one thing I might expect him to do here, I don't know if I really could. You know, it's going to be one of those scenarios where actually this is a difficult one to call how exactly it should play out or how exactly it will play out. So yeah, don't know what exactly SOO' might be coming up with here. Just know that I actually think it's probably a pretty competitive series. I know Spirit's really good right now. I just feel like SOO' has been good enough in some of the matches I've seen, and I don't think his World Team League performance so far has really been kind of notable compared to, like, say, what I've seen of him elsewhere. So yeah, maybe a few things to take notice of there, as we do just have double orbital morphing. Obviously, you get 2 orbitals at the same time when you do play CC first, and that's one of the telltale signs in case you join the game late and you see, oh, 2 orbitals at the same time. Yeah, that's just CC first timing, so it always helps if you're a caster that didn't pay attention the first 2 minutes of the game. You told me to Twitch chat, so you look up, you're like, oh, 2 CCs, oh, a CC first, by the way, guys. But everyone's like, whoa, what, he's been paying attention since the start. It's like, shh, don't tell them. Don't tell them, I was too busy talking to them to notice. Let's going to see our factory is not too far from finishing, and the Reaper is going to hop up. There's a Queen there, and the Reaper is already taking quite some damage. A few links to the top side, looking to chase that Reaper around and down. Nothing really too crazy then, as that Reaper is going to get just, like I say, pushed around for the moment. It's going to have to leave, and we just move in towards our link speed here. So link speed is coming up, getting that underway. And yeah, first Hellion's coming out from Spirit as well. I mean, I'm really just trying to find something fun to talk about, but it is just very standard across the board. And I do wonder what SOO'S plan is then. On a very standard map, which is Terran favored, how happy are you really just going to sit back and watch this all happen, you know? Strike's going to lift off. Starport will drop down onto the tech lab, and maybe we're just going to play Hellion Banshee here. So CC first and a 3CC Hellion Banshee. Let's see if he gets Cloak as well. He will. Okay. I remember Spirit talking about a build that he did against Cyril and, what was it? It was during the cast of Civil War, and he was telling John about it. He's like, yeah, you use the Banshees to defend a counterattack, and then you actually just set up for a big push. And, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that this is necessarily that. It's just that's what this, so far, that's what I'm reminded of. Just for the fact that it's, yeah, just for the fact it's kind of setting up in that way in the first few moments. So, yeah, just kind of reminded of that. Maybe it's a possibility. I think there's obviously going to be a few possibilities here in terms of what could happen. So, no need to jump to conclusions. Just a rough idea of what we're maybe expecting to start seeing. The Queens there are ready to come through as the Hellions will go up to the top side. And we'll see if Spirit can find anything particularly exciting over there for now. I think the answer for the moment is just going to be no, probably not, but there's always going to be a bit of potential to get some damage dealt as the Queens are there to turn the Reaper Hellion away there for a moment. That's Marine nibbling away at that Overlord. And that OV taking quite a bit of damage as extra racks are building, going to second and third here. And obviously we're really excited as well to see just what happens when the first Banshees come into play. Just how that's going to start looking and how that might turn out as well. So, a few different things to be excited for at the moment. As we get set up, there's a few Hellions just pinging away and getting rid of a little bit of creep spread. So a little bit of creep going down. Spire from SOO is now starting, so that's going to be on its way. The couple of additional extractors building also here. And those two Banshees are going to come through the top and see just how dangerous they can end up being. Can they get damage done? Can Spirit take a lead early? He's going to find at least a few drones on the edge of this base. Stay out of spore range, of course. He can still get the workers on the gas for 4. He might be able to reach for 5 because those workers kind of stopped on like the near side of the spore crawler, so not ideal. And he's actually going to kill the extractor unless you kind of move back in. Yeah, he's going to come back in, nip off another couple of drones. Really just good play so far. Exactly what you want to be doing with your Banshees. Not putting them in any kind of overly kind of dangerous situation. Making sure you can always pretty much escape with them right is very important too. That's a nice play so far from Spirit, who's going to find a couple more as well. This is kind of scary already, you know, on Curious Minds, you're losing a lot of drones to the Banshees like this. The Banshees are still alive, so they're not, they're not even necessarily done just yet. They can absolutely come in and still do a whole bunch more as well. Like I say, it's just those kind of scary times at the moment. It's just going to be seeing our Hellions coming back through, picking off a little bit more creep spread here, and just trying to hold SOO back. I mean, creep is getting to the middle of the map, but it's short maps, so getting to the middle isn't all that impressive. And SOO has chosen to just end up playing into these Mutalisks, so Mutas are the choice. 1-1 upgrades now starting as the Mutas are finishing, and, well, we've got Spirit already starting to push a little bit. It's a great time to be pushing because if your opponents build a Mutas, they are not units that want to really be caught up in a fight or anything, so being able to kind of run in and, well, basically looking to force a fight right now is pretty nice on Spirit's point of view in terms of where this game is headed to. He is flying overhead, and that's already a bunch of SCVs that'll go down. So actually Spirit caught a bit off guard. A lot of units on the map, but they're not doing anything right now. They're holding a position, not dealing damage, and these Mutas get in, and for moments he thought he was going to commit. I think he just realized he didn't have Bane speed. I was kind of wondering about it. I thought I hadn't seen it on the production tab. I didn't know if I just missed it. But yeah, he doesn't have Baneling speed, which is obviously rough. Taking these fights without that Bane speed is going to be extremely difficult. So SOO needs to be really cautious right now as he's going to run in. He has to just make sure this is absolutely the fight he wants. He's going to have the Mutas going after the siege tanks. He will get rid of a couple before. If he had Bane speed, I think this is a really easy cleanup. But without it, Spirit's going to be able to have a lot left over. Those Banes just never really threatening enough here. Yeah, that's a real shame if I do say so myself. There's just going to be seeing these few extra Banes trying to finish up. Even if they do, what they're going to do, waddle toward the Marines and get shot down again? Listen, that Baneling speed is a critical error, and especially when you've opened Lair early, it means that you're meant to have Baneling speed to go with this sort of, attack timing. He might start to clean up now. Some of these medevacs are drained of energy. Some of the Marines are just low HP. I can't even hear myself speak over things dying. I don't know what the volumes are doing today. Seriously. Oh, yeah. All right. It does look as though these units are going to continue through. Marines continuing to go down. I'm just going to be having... I mean, is it a hold from SOO? I think he's going to hold. Officially, he's going to hold, but I mean, what sort of position will he be in? Well, I mean, Spirit's only on 60 SCV, so it's not like Spirit's on a super crazy eco. Spirit has not started 2-2, so if SOO survives, he might be okay. Just because Spirit's obviously set up to win the game right now. I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily going to be enough for SOO to then be like, okay, I can just bounce back. I love that scan for Spirit. Because again, Spirit's very committed right now. He wants to know exactly what he's playing against. He's like, oh, I need to know if you've got a base up or not so I can make the right decision here as to whether to keep pushing or say, okay, I can slow it down a second or two because I've killed your fourth. And maybe just killing the fourth base is for Spirit a point at which he can say, right, I can actually start to do other things. I no longer need to kind of push to win the game right now. because this is maybe the point at which pushing to win the game is just going to, you know, lose me too many units. But in reality, killing the 4th is now an acceptable time for me to just tech up at home, build into my own 4th base. It does seem to be the plan from him. Just says, yeah, this is the breaking point for me, or the crossing point at which I say, yes, move into a whole different idea now. Hey, what's up, Duderino? Thank you so much for the 7-month resub. Welcome back on that. Wardy Hype is in the chat. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing well, and thanks so much for supporting so far today. And those Marines are going to go grabbing themselves an Ovi. Falling Bane is out around the bottom side. We do have Marines and Medevacs making their way forward on the south. Liking the tank target fire on those few Banelings. That was really nice. You're going to see some extra Marines coming in as well. Ling's going to get forced to turn around pretty much straight away. And Medevac sealing up a chunk of these Marines as well. More Ling Bane Muta. We'll set up in at the center, bottom left. Base now online from Sue. A big deal. I mean, obviously, Spirit's still pushing here. The thing is, pushing the bottom left is very out of the way, but that goes for not only attacking a Spirit, but defending a Sue. So, yeah, it kind of works both ways. No one really wants to pay attention to that. And to be fair, Sue, just gonna be happy that it's there for now. Spirit is obviously really focused on this position, wants to bust through right here, if at all possible. Currently unable to, though. Currently not finding that chance as the Mutas are going to re-engage. Ling Bane running into the center. I mean, this might be the moment where you do break through. The Mutas get rid of the tank. Now there's a Thor showing up, and the Thor showing up is terrifying because now these Mutas cannot do anywhere near as much as they were doing before. They just cannot be as useful as they once were. I feel like this is a very slow death from Sue. I feel like he is absolutely just going to be dying off here. I hate to be negative, right? I hate to call things early, but I just don't see what he really does. I mean, okay, Spirit could take some really horrendous fights, but the problem is Spirit is set up to take good fights. Like, the position he's in, Sue has to attack into him off creep to defend a base, which he feels like he needs to try and keep alive. Like, that's why it feels difficult to imagine Sue getting back into this, because it just feels as though Spirit has good enough control, not just in terms of micro, but just of position on the map, that fights are naturally going to benefit him. So how does that ever slip away and start going the other direction? Just like I said, I just don't know if it really does start going the other direction at all. Here's at least we'll get a bit of harassment done. Spirit's fully swung around to the bottom left-hand corner now, where Widowmine's shot is massive. Huge Widowmine to start off with there, and obviously a couple of Thors already back in this position up. Just going to be seeing them standing strong. Might not be able to get this base right now, but we're already taking good trades here as Spirit. Do not feel like that was the Thor that needed saving right there, as Widowmine's going off as well, hitting Mutas as they wanted to try and fly in. I mean, literally everything there was just going Spirit's way, so kind of works out nicely. Sue is back into the supply lead, if only just. 2-2 against 2-1, by the way. +2 armor not yet done for Spirit. He's moving into that as he gets +3 attack as well. So finally, fully upgrading. Obviously, delayed upgrades for a long time in this game, so not too surprised when he went to start +2 attack. Maybe didn't have +2 armor ready to go. We just have the Thor actually getting rid of some Mutas towards the end here, but Spirit is actually going to lose this army. His attempt to push the bottom left is absolutely not worked out in the end. And that's very notable, right? The fact that this bottom left push hasn't worked out, that means that Sue is now not just, you know, taking some good trades, but Spirit's no longer in that kind of very scary setup in the top right, which was consistently looking as though it was going to be able to get a lot done. That's obviously very good news. It's just going to be having our Fire Force sitting back for a moment. Spirit's looking for 5th base, though, looking to really draw this game out if that's what's needed. I mean, Spirit is absolutely no stranger to drawn out longer games, so he'll be absolutely fine to let this go there, like I say, if it's necessary. It's just a question of, I mean, Sue back in the game is obviously great. He's going to catch this medevac as well, because I've been saying he's been dead for a while, and I really thought he was. But yeah, some bad fights from Spirit have let Sue really kind of take a better stance in this game than I thought he would be able to find, so Very, very cool. Slings, Banes coming up. Gonna see a couple of Widowmines are gonna be burrowing, and we do have the Lane Bane army continue to run on forward. Widowmine shots continue to go off on that force. These Banes continue to crash in. Marauder going down, Marines going down. SCVs over here are being killed off as well. 15 SCVs, 16 SCVs already dying. Wow, big attack from Soo. Denies the 5th base. Really important to stop the 5th base getting online. I mean, that's going to be what keeps him in this game. Obviously, he's not had a great economy himself, per se, throughout this, but keeping Spirit away from the 5th is exactly what would put him into a much better spot here now. Widowmine shots are helping a lot with the Thor. The meters are taking lots of damage, although they are getting rid of a lot of medevacs too. Honestly, just turned into a pretty banging game between Spirit and Soo here on Curious Minds. Remember, Spirit needs both to take us to an ace match. Soo just needs one map to win the series for the Freecs. That would be their first win of the season if it was to happen. Meters have the Overseer, so actually going to get the full cleanup there. So that's very nicely done. So we're coming through and seeing what goes on. Fire Force along the left-hand side. Meters coming through there. As that turret firing up a storm, and meters are going to get pushed back up through the center. Mauling Bane just continuing on out. What happens as we start to run through down this bottom side? Just going to be seeing the Marines having to split back. A couple Banes starting to go down. Spirit, I feel like slowing the game down for the last few moments has worked wonders in his favor, right? All of a sudden has this massive army, and his own army Soo might not be able to beat properly. Runs in off of creep, and Spirit's able to take a very good fight. I feel like that's the best fight Spirit's taken in a while. It does feel like recently he's been having trouble kind of being able to clean up and hold out over here. So yeah, that's a massive massive win for Spirit just again compared to what we've been seeing previously. I think is the most notable part of what I'm trying to say here. Just compared to what we've been seeing, that's very good for him. As now he's going to get set up on this bottom left-hand base as well. It's going to be able to start pushing through this also. Yeah. I mean, that base goes down. He does a counterattack to notice the SCV count that's dropping once again. Spirit not super crazy far ahead when it comes to army supply or anything, so yeah, I mean, maybe Spirit now, not a lot of economy. Soo has a lead. Soo just needs to, I assume, win a fight or two now. If Soo can win one fight, if Spirit's forced to fight on creep or so, I mean, I guess if he waits too long, then maybe Spirit has to, then maybe Soo has to fight again because that 5th base just comes online. He's going to grab the medevac. Obviously, Soo just fully stuck on Lingbane Muta, doesn't have the chance or the money to really tech up beyond that. That's why you're kind of stuck on these kind of lower tier kind of fights as Soo and just scrappy fights and so on. You just can't justify teching up at this stage. I think that's very true as well. As you just come in, they clean up a couple of Widow Mines, and just going to see more Bioforce run up around the top and trying to get a wrap around here, if at all possible. I see these few Banes are going to start rolling through. Widow Mines. Hear them starting to fire. Meters are down into the bottom, and they're going to get rid of a supply depot. Again, just counterattacking when they can, but also needs to find the right time to bring this army back to the top. As we are going to be seeing Widowmine after Widowmine going off there, killing off a lot of the Zerg that was just trailing in. There's just not a lot of Banelings up from Soo right now. At any point in time, without Banelings, this Bioforce can just turn around and fight. Widowmine was obviously on cooldown, and actually at the moment, Spirit has been forced all the way away. He is running, but not actually getting any damage dealt. The Widowmine hits the meters, but not too badly, honestly. And well, Planetary Fortress will stand there and deliver a shot to clean up a few Lings. Able to clean those up. More Widowmines on the left side. Bio coming around that bottom corner. And just going to be seeing everything gathering on the right. Would love to see what is happening here. And he actually, I mean, Soo is again ahead in supply. It is mostly in workers. Obviously, Spirit's trades have been efficient enough to keep him in that regardless. Gonna be having the mutas all the way down the south. We'll pick off a marine there as well. So just, again, trying to be controlling with these mutas as best as possible. You know, every single time these mutas are darting in just for unit 2, that efficiency goes a long way. Especially when Sue is the one that's trading overall inefficiently, so he needs to try and pull that back a little bit wherever he can. Widowmine's going up, a couple of Lings getting picked away at. Widowmine's hitting some of these medevacs. Just gonna see that medevac coming through the top side. Widowmine will unload, and that's already a bunch of drones going down. There's a few Banes firing through. Orbital Command taking some hits. Is gonna have to lift off. 16 SCVs down. Spirit. Army supply just about even still. I mean, come on, man. This is kind of ridiculous, no? Orbital Command is going to end up burning down here. The mutas will be chasing that medevac into the main. I think Spirit's dead, guys. I mean, he's got 23 SCVs. If he can win with this army, then okay, but I actually think the muta count might be too high for him to just win with this army, you know? I actually think the muta count might just be too high. Huh. Ling Bane coming around. Ling is still building. Just gonna see a couple Widow Mines building too. Let's see. I mean, this fight is important. The thing is now is just this little bit of creep, and it just means that Sue can take the fight with that little bit of creep to run in with, and that helps so much. Such crazy how much that's gonna help him here as the Banes crash through for a few Marines already. Coming in with everything else. The Ling's coming in. The Overseer's trying to lead Widow Mine shots. Okay, Sue's gonna have to give up this base, but he's got the bottom left corner as well, so he's not in immediate trouble if he has to give up one base here. He has time to give that up and get ready to go again. He actually comes forward now. These Banes do find some connections on Marines. The Thor, low HP, just about manages to lift up and get away. Lifts up again, gets away a second time. Muta's getting the cleanup. Spirit less than 50 supply, and it looks as though we are going to have Sue closing it out for the Freecs in a game that looked her. I mean, I actually said he was dead at one point in this, right? I said I do not know how he gets back into this. And Spirit took some very bad fights in a row. And you know what it was? It wasn't happening when Spirit was in that top right side when he had that position set up. It was when he's swerving around to the bottom left. He just couldn't seemingly find a position to take good fights down there. And that was what opened the door to giving Sue a chance again. Having to fight in the bottom left instead of the top where he had those tanks preset. Every fight was kind of on his own terms. That's what really, you know, did a lot of the changing up and switching up in this game. Don't mind firing a few more Lings coming around, and it looks as though Sue, again, just has the numbers now as his base top right will not be allowed to mine either, so that won't happen. The Spirit types GG. Kaizi Gaming will take a loss right here. The Freecs will take it 4-1. And Sue gets the W over Spirit to take that one home. Wow. I mean, what a game as well in the end. Credit to Sue. He played, I mean, on the Terran kind of map as well. He played with a scrappy Lingbane Muta style, and he was just about able to find the fights which he really needed at the end there to make it work for himself. Again, GG's. Yo, thank you so much. Right-hand side, it is going to be Spirit again. This is a match which is now only about map score. The series has been won by the Freecs. So for a little bit of map score, Spirit chooses to play on Hardwire. Let's see how Sue does against what is likely to be a very slow-going, turtley Spirit. Because that's the only reason I can imagine him choosing to play on this map. I do not imagine that's going to be in any other sort of situation, right? Yeah. Yeah. I've got no other good assumption for it, basically. Love to see Sue taking some games or some nice wins. Yeah, man. It's good to see Sue back. Honestly, I feel like he's going to be a little bit up and down for a while, right? He's going to have some games where things just click. He's going to have some games where he maybe just doesn't quite get everything going his way. That's kind of the, you know, what usually happens when players return from military or return from just playing, not playing for a long time. So, yeah. His commitment to LATEG as well. He didn't get 3-3. Well, you have to. That's the problem with Lingbane Muta. In that game, he's too far behind to tech. And obviously, at some point, you can maybe say, ooh, could he squeeze it in? But he clearly felt under so much pressure at any point in time, he had to keep building units. I don't disagree. Like, when would you have tech to Hive? Because Hive isn't cheap. You got to go Infestation Pit, then Hive, then whatever you actually want off the Hive. And at any point in time, that is a huge investment. It's always been the issue with Lingbane Muta that you just get stuck on Lingbane Muta. The Terran keeps on being aggressive, and eventually they're just overwhelmed because you're stuck on a bad comp, you're trading badly and inefficiently, and you just get overrun. But Sue was able to get enough done that he was able to make it work. Like I say, it's just one of those things which doesn't happen all the time, but when it does happen, it's very fun to see. Ward 2022, thank you so much for the 8-month resub on the Prime. Thank you so very much for supporting the stream today. Really do appreciate it. Hells yeah. Thanks for being so freaking awesome, supporting the channel. Really, really, really do appreciate it, guys. Thank you so very much. Yeah, thanks for all the resubs and stuff. As like I say, nice to try and keep the sub count up a little bit during DreamHack. There's only so much we can do when DreamHack is on, so I appreciate you all still supporting me, even though we're not streaming quite as much just for this next couple weeks, of course. That Zerg looking like a lawyer because that Terran got sued. Oh my god. That's so terrible, it's actually kind of okay. I'll allow it. I'll allow it. Reaper comes in, gets a little clean and bot pick off over on that right-hand side, and just going to be seeing the factory moving over to the reactor. Barrack's going to move in and take a position here as well. And yeah, let's get all of that nicely set up for the moment here in this game number 2. Like I say, I mean, I hope you guys have brought popcorn because this one might have some fireworks in it as well. I really do expect this to, like I say, be drawn out long. I can't imagine Spirit picks this map thinking, oh yeah, I'm just going to, you know, do a cheeky little, just going to do a cheeky little all-in or something, right? Like, it doesn't make sense. No way. No. So yeah, map score important. Obviously, the players usually care a lot about these games as well because they like their, you know, their own score in the league to be good. Obviously, their teams see that. Some teams reward based on that as well, for example. So maps are always important, even if the overall series is decided. So don't just expect this to, like I say, be a throwaway. Oh, whatever, game's done. No one cares. You know, terrible game. No, it's probably actually still going to be a really good StarCraft 2. So with that in mind, let's look forward to it. From the 2 Hellions down the right side, trying to get in, but not really going to find much luck or opportunity over there, so they get turned around pretty much immediately. Yeah, immediately nothing too wild happening, as we just have the Queens. We setting up at the front. The Banshee, couple of Hellions on the way out. Obviously getting towards that cloak as well. So all of that still just coming through here. So we having our little squadron trying to make their way forward, but unable to find an opening. Cloak Banshee is obviously something I think Spirit can do a lot with, and one thing I think we'll really be watching for here, see just how well he can do with it all. So yeah, watching for those Banshees specifically. And yeah, I mean, the Banshees last game were great as well. Really finding corners, really finding openings. Again, don't get me wrong, the first startup of the game, the first 10 minutes or so was really good for Special. Really put him kind of what I would call exactly where he wanted to be, right? You know, put him into a lead, gave him control of the map on Curious Minds of all maps as well. It's a great map to have control of. And we saw it when he got the push up the right side. Sue was just not breaking that down. He could not punch through that army. It was having to, you know, go and attack down to the bottom left that Spirit fell apart in. Actually, it's kind of funny because I guess in a way that kind of is just Spirit in a nutshell. Great defensive player, long macro game player. A little bit worse when it comes to kind of being offensive and aggressive. And that really shone in that game because the fights that happened when he was being more defensive were a lot better than ones when he was being aggressive. This is a Nidus from Sue, which is actually going up in the main base. SCVs, I'm gonna pop. I mean, what a weird Nidus. He's already going into just Lingbane Muta behind this. Oh, this is such a weird Nidus. It didn't even, wow. That Nidus almost feels random. Like, he's got a good drone count. It's not like he's got a ton of units. Like, he maybe could have had more drones. What a random Nidus network. And like I say, he goes Spire now behind this. Bane speed does start immediately. That was one of Sue's biggest issues last game. Not having that Bane speed early enough really cost him a lot. Put him into a lot of trouble very early on. Obviously good to recover from that as these Hellions will set up in the center. Things moving around on the front, just going to be seeing the Queens in the center as well. Like I said, Spire coming through, drones on the way. Gain speed's about halfway done as well, and Spirit is on his way to 1-1 in combat shield, so bringing all of that through right now. As these Lings want to go running for those Hellions, but will not quite find the chance to just yet. But the Hellions going to go down the right-hand side, and the two Banshees down the left to, again, try and see if there's a difference to be made here. See if they can find some harassment, see if Spirit can get some of that damage done early. So he's going to play a Hydrogen, by the way, so he's completely changing his mind on what he's doing. It feels like, SOO'S just cycled through a whole bunch of different techs. It's almost like he spun a roulette wheel, and it's like, oh, maybe not a roulette wheel, but you know when you spin that kind of like the prize wheel? It's like, it's slowly ticking over. It's like you think you're going to get the really good prize, but then it stops. Well, SOO'S actually just slowed down, but it never stops. He's like, oh, it landed on a Nidus. Cool, I'm going to build a Nidus. And he like starts the Nidus up, and he's like, shit! It actually went over to Spire. So he starts building a Spire, and he looks again, he's like, what? Higher than Infestor? What? SOO'S just changes his mind up every few seconds. And yeah, he's just going to, I guess, you want to move into Lingbane Hydra, but most importantly, probably look towards Lurkers fairly early on here, I'd imagine. It's going to be a big part of what we're aiming towards, so yeah, with that setup in mind, we'll see what Spirit wants to do against it. If SOO'S wants to play straight into that, then Spirit's just going to be like, okay then, I'm very happy to slow this down, make ghosts, and everything else that I need. So yeah, if you want to play like that, I can play like that. We can play like that together. Now, those Mallet upgrades will be finishing. Groove Spines coming through, and the first few Hydras coming up. I guess we didn't see a Lurker Den yet, right? So this could just be kind of Lingbane Hydra with some Viper support initially. Obviously, if it was going to be straight to Lurkers, you can get the Lurker Den as soon as the Hydra Den is done. You don't need the Hive to build the Lurker Den, you just need the Hive for the Lurker upgrades. So usually the Hive and Lurker Den come down in tandem because, well, yeah, you're looking to get the Lurker upgrades. That's when Lurkers are really good. But this is just Lingbane Hydra with some Viper support to begin with. So that's going to be the starting point here at the very least. Just used to see some Lings just running up the right side and some Marines there. Going to be quick to stim and push those Zerglings away. 10 Banes, 2 Vipers, plenty more Zerglings all coming through at the moment, so all of that still being brought in right now. Just going to be seeing that Marines and Hellions joining up. We do have this force of Sue moving up into the middle of the map. And is Sue just going to try and bust Spirit down? I mean, that is a possibility as well, right? Sue could just say, alright, let's go for this, let's just commit. Try and get something done early on. Try and put myself ahead if you can hit this mineral line, get rid of some SCVs. You know what? I don't know where the Vipers are right now, but I wish they were here, because a Viper Blinding Cloud on that group of Marines coming through that choke point could have just forced them forward, and then they can't fight. Then maybe Sue could actually have taken that engagement if that Viper was just there and able to drop that Blinding Cloud. Well, they're back at home still just getting their energy going, so a little bit of a shame. Yo, what's up? Oh, 1 second. Another fight breaking out. Lingbane Hydra going to bust through a second time here. These Banes really want to try and help get rid of some of the stack defense, the bunker, some of the Sim City, the depots, but it feels like the tail end of this just ain't all that hot for Sue. Isn't going to really be able to get enough done, and Spirit just going to absorb this damage and say, okay, that's all good for me. We can move on from there for the moment. Now they're being picked away at. I was going to say thank you so much to Nick94 for the Prime sub. Nick, not Nike. Thank you so much for support. Tried to say it a couple times, but Sue just kept engaging every time I thought things had settled down. Alright, well. I was going to see our medevacs spreading out a little bit. Blind Cloud I was talking about before lands that one kind of towards the bio units, then you see how they have to fall back. opens the pathway to maybe hit that orbital command at that stage, right? So, like that, feel like that's a cool move, feel like that's exactly what I wanted to see previously, and now we actually get to see it, so hell yeah. That's always nice. As that planetary fortress is up and running. You'll see a few Banes just morphing in alongside these Hydras, which are coming back around now. And this army of SOO is going to be looking for a bit of a push forward. But the missile turrets here looking to shoot down some Overseers. Doesn't quite get them, so the Overseers get to live. We actually get this planetary fortress, though. I mean, SOO's been aggressive throughout this, and it just feels as though he's failing to do enough. He will get the planetary. Spirit still sits on 4 bases. A lot more command centers on the way, so not immediately in trouble in that regard. In fact, it's completely fine in that regard, as 29 Banelings are morphing in. Hydras and Lings continuing to produce as well, so all that's still coming up here. Lingbane Hydra would be a good name for my next hamster. What? Why would you name a hamster Lingbane Hydra? That's like 3 different. You could have 3 hamsters called 1 Ling, 1 Bane, and 1 Hydra. That would be better. You've just had this idea as well. See, you thought about it, and we came to the same conclusion. That means it's a really good idea if we came to the same conclusion. So, Banes are hitting ghosts here. Parasitic bombs on the medevacs. The Spikes will get one of the 2 Vipers again. SOO just losing so much. He's doing the right thing in terms of hitting the economy and getting rid of some SCVs, but I feel like what he really needs is, if he's attacking in here, where is the Bane run by elsewhere, you know? I understand that, you know, Spirit's somewhat turtled up right now, but he's just sending so much into these positions, and it's so defended on that right side. He needs to go so deep and lose so much to feel like he's getting anything done. Spire is about to finish up. I'm just going to be seeing that bio units pressing on that left side. Scan goes down. These few creep teamers are going to get picked away. The Marauders stemming in for this. The Lings are going to run through. The Marauders in some trouble. Now we're going to send the rest of the army out over this side. Tanks are firing, blowing up a bunch of Banelings. Hydra's taking damage as well. Big hits so far as we stim on through. Creep spread going down. Queen's chased away. We just regather now in front of this planetary fortress. Creep spread is everywhere. SOO'S obviously had 95 drones throughout this. He's finally going to start making lure, because we've not really seen those despite having had the choice to build them for a while. It's not like he's only just unlocked access to those or anything, so definitely notable. The Ceiling Bane on the far right is setting up and obviously ready to run in. Once again, looking for those ghosts, which are going to have tanks to run back to, and that's going to protect them from a lot of these Banelings. Again, Spirit just really leaning heavily on the fact that he's got a defendable position, and he knows that it's defendable. He knows that the positioning is strong, and he's just letting SOO walk into it repeatedly. He's like, yeah, come on then. Here's the Nidus. Maybe this is why Nidus early in the game, it's like, boom. Now you're not expecting the 15-minute Nidus. As Bane's actually get great connections here. This hatchery doesn't die. Again, Spirit on the defense, great. Spirit on offense, not so great, as this starport will likely die if it's not lifted. Here comes the scan, here comes the cleanup on these lurkers. Surprised they didn't unburrow to try and jump back in the Nidus. I would have imagined a couple of those could have got away, and I feel like toward the end, a little bit of splash that they did at the very end there probably didn't really deal anything. Like, once the starport died, I feel like just lift, run away, and probably saved like 4 of them. And probably didn't do anything else after that point anyway. Attempted burst on this planetary again, just not going to happen. Spirit's defense continues to be stalwart, and he is just not going to break here. The main base is a little bit of a sweet spot in it now, of course, for SOO to maybe get another Nidus up. There's not as much vision available as before. Maybe it could go right in the corner. Just because obviously there's been a lot killed in that corner, and Spirit's not going to necessarily focus on rebuilding that location. SOO gets even more Banelings morph, and he keeps setting up this Nidus. He wants to put it next to the tank, that's why. He wants to get the Nidus there, so that the tank is just not an immediate defense without thinking about it. You do have to be watching, you do have to respond to that still. Just like this, so it will not need it too much. Nothing will really happen because of this. So that is all good. we go. Flingbane Hydra moving through again. Just going to see a couple of these tanks going down. Great Blinding Cloud at the tail end as well. Have we got enough to bust down the planetary? No! The Bane's got their moments late, and because of that, the SCV's got enough repair on it to keep it alive. Can you believe it? I actually kind of can't believe that that just happened. Oh my goodness, man. Feels like Sue is having like a real difficulty just killing base stuff. I'd love to see resources lost. Obviously, I'm not observing this. I'm casting off the clean feed, right? So I don't know quite what the resources lost is at or anything, and I'd obviously love to know. Fire coming through. Bit of creepers helping Sue still try to counteract this and deal damage if at all necessary. Marines continue to produce. Ghost still on the way up. All of this still coming into play right now as we get settled down. Scans across the board. We've got ourselves a lane force in the top left. Sue's been so bad at killing off bases, I can't believe this group of lings would work. Yeah. So, I'm gonna snipe a few of them, maybe a bit excessive. I think it was okay, but yeah, there's no way. Oh, Blind Cloud. Oh, if Spirit hadn't right-clicked his units back there, they would have ran forward in the Blind Cloud into the Bane. So it was a really cool Blind Cloud. It was actually a great idea from Sue. Just good instinctiveness from Spirit to A-B pull him back at that moment anyway, / maybe a bit fortunate he chose that exact moment as well, right? Things going to pull out of that knight. It's just going to get wrapped around on this planetary fortress top left, looking to pick away at that if possible. Things in the main base going after some SCVs too. As the mules are going to come down here and try and repair that base. Again, Sue is honestly just almost allergic to actually seeing a command center die. I know it's not really his own fault. Spirit just keeps holding them, but like he just cannot get the kills in the bases. You know, in a dangerous space now, right? Where, you know, Spirit has a lot of money. And so Sue is just at a point where attacks like this aren't even necessarily doing enough. Well, this is fun, as we do get maybe some ghosts on the top side of this. Okay, there's a lot of units going down from Sue. This is a horrible fight. Banes are running into like single ghosts and marauders, and that's just not efficient at all. And again, efficiency is genuinely a problem now from Sue, because Spirit is holding enough base, and he's been holding them long enough. He does lose the top left, but again, he's just got enough of a bank to rebuild every time, and that's Sue's issue. He's working with so little army supply in comparison. Yo, Death Reef, thank you so much for the 2-year resub on the Prime. Welcome back. Really appreciate it. Thanks so much for supporting. Hell yeah, thank you so much. Firefall still gathering up. He's got all these lurkers in the top left just sitting out over here. Extra banelings continue to build up. Just going to see the little changelings spreading out, moving along. Going a few different directions as the tanks will fire and change up a couple. "21 minutes deep." Lurkers are now working on this top left base. Again, the Lurkers actually denying this base has probably been one of the most successful base scenarios Sue has seen in this game so far, so that's really nice, as the Marauders just gonna, you know, do that little bit of a sing-song as they die. Marauders are like that. Fire Force just trying to move along again, wants to secure these bases in this direction. If you can do that, then brilliant. Well, there's just no guarantee that will happen. Actually got Lib just dealing some damage over this side as well, which is really nice. Being able to do a lot over there. I mean, just denying drones. Any economy you're denying right now while your own economy is on the up is generally a pretty big plus, so yeah. I mean, Spirit's doing a great job of just making sure that Sue is more or less checkmated towards the end of all of this. Just going to see Ling Bane's going to try and run through now. This actually could be a pretty cool fight from Soo, though. Definitely has got some potential. Spirit's numbers do drop down that little bit, so somewhat successful, I feel like we could say, is these last few Banes going to get some final kills. The Ghost at least going to lift up and stay alive, so the Ghosts get to stay in this. It's nice. Push forward, these drones are going to be pulling away. Hatchery is going to be taking some damage. So that's going to be happening, and away we go. He's going to run up. Tanks, Marines, all getting picked away at. Viper hanging out overhead, and Overseers as well. Just going to help out as the Lings come back through there, and just going to be seeing this base, at least on the right side, now being denied. Ghosts, Marines coming through, Overseers as well. Gonna see the medevac is just gonna go down, so a little victory from Soo, who still sits at pretty much being maxed out. See, a nice place to be, nice place to be working from. The Marauders down the left side is just gonna be having a bit of fun as well. Things trying to crash in. A couple of tanks going to absorb those Bentley shots. Ghosts and Marines trying to fight back. Snipe still coming down. Overseers getting shot at. Queen taking some extra hits as well. Not too bad at the end of the day, is that's going to be seeing the Ghosts, the Marines, and Marauders continue back through. The hatchery will take some damage. Earthlings all gonna pop out. Spirit is, again, sticking on in this. Marauders coming along, taking some extra shots. 7 drones dying. Soo just doesn't have the supply anymore. Spirit able to deal some damage himself, definitely going a long way. Definitely able to just stop Soo from rebuilding repeatedly. And of course, Soo just threw so much away this game. Look at that resource lost. Actually not as bad or one-sided as I maybe thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be really one-sided, so yeah, maybe actually not as bad there as, like I say, I initially thought it might be. Oh, just going to be seeing Lings and Banes crashing through, chasing down tanks and everything on this left side. Continue to make some plays, and looking as though we're not going to be having one last attempt from Soo. His supply not really high enough to get it done, but just sticking in there as long as he can. Definitely some fighting spirit from a Zerg player here. He's going to run in. A couple tanks is going to get picked up. I'm just going to be seeing these Marines continuing through as well. Ling, Bane, Hydra, Lurk continues around. Move over that right side there, and the Bioforce, the Ghost, the tanks, all coming through as well. It's all continuing to look pretty good for Spirit. Again, a map which maybe doesn't change things in the overall result of the series, but map score is important in the league. And of course, it's always nice for Spirit to know he's able to get one for his team today. And it does also make the series just look closer overall as well, right? For as much as that might matter. Let's say bombs coming down. So you're really trying to do anything possible. This little group of Marines actually doesn't do all that well. Is killed off pretty swiftly there. And the Spirit's army overall still is massive in comparison to his opponents, so still looking very good. Been pushing through. Bane's crashing in. Tanks taking damage, but not enough, as we are going to be seeing this chased away. Soo types out the GG, and Spirit will come home with the W right here. And that is going to be doing it. Spirit gets the job done. To win a map, like I say, it doesn't make too much of a difference, but it's still nice. A little bit of moral victory. And, yeah, better than no map at all, right? Jeez.